Today I'll be talking about the Zika virus, a relatively new virus that has caused recent outbreaks around the world. The Zika virus belongs to a group of viruses called the flaviviruses, which include dengue, West Nile, and yellow fever. Flaviviruses are tiny structures made up of protein, RNA, and a lipid membrane. Like other flaviviruses, the Zika is icosahedral and has a non-segmented, single-stranded, 10 kilobase positive sense RNA genome. The outer surface of the Zika virus is tiled with a tightly packed coat of envelope proteins. Additionally, the virus contains glycosylated asparagine amino acids on the surface. These carbohydrates are thought to be the way that Zika finds the cells that it infects, by binding to carbohydrate receptors on the cell surface. In this image, the envelope proteins are indicated in yellow and red, and the amino acid glycosylation shown in turquoise. Once the viral proteins bind to the cell receptor, they trick the cell into taking up the virus particle. Inside the cell, the RNA genome of the virus is released into the cytoplasm. There, the RNA molecule is translated by enzymes in the cell to make a long protein, which is converted into several smaller proteins. Some of these proteins are the structural components needed to make new viral particles, such as capsid and envelope proteins. Other viral proteins copy and process the RNA genome. Viral proteins and copies of the RNA genome assemble at the surface of the endoplasmic reticulum. New viral particles bud off into the interior of the ER, taking a small patch of ER membrane along with them. This stolen membrane will form the viral envelope. The particles then travel through the Golgi apparatus, where they undergo more processing before release at the cell surface. Released viral particles can infect other cells, continuing the infection cycle. Zika virus is usually spread by the bite of an infected Aedes species mosquito, such as Aedes aegypti and Aedes albopictus. When the mosquito bites a person who is already infected with the Zika virus, the mosquito becomes infected as well. When the mosquito bites another person, the virus enters that person's bloodstream and causes another infection. During pregnancy and at delivery, Zika virus can be transmitted from mother to child. Moreover, the virus can also spread from one person to another through sexual contact, and in some cases, people contract the virus through blood transfusions or organ donations. Up to 80% of people infected with the Zika won't have symptoms or will only have mild symptoms. The most common symptoms of Zika are fever, rash, headache, joint pain, conjunctivitis, also known as pink eye, and muscle pain. The symptoms usually last for several days to a week, but most people don't get sick enough to go to a hospital, and they very rarely die of Zika, with the overall survival rate of non-congenital Zika over 99%. For this reason, many people might not realize that they have been infected. Although most Zika virus infections are characterized by subclinical or mild influenza-like illness, severe manifestations have been described. Women who are infected with the Zika virus during pregnancy have an increased risk of miscarriage. Zika virus infection during pregnancy also increases the risk of serious birth defects in infants, including a potentially fatal brain condition called microcephaly, where the baby's head is much smaller than normal, leading to an intellectual disability, poor motor function, poor speech, abnormal facial features, seizures, and dwarfism. In adults, infection with the Zika virus may cause brain or nervous system complications, such as Guillain-Barré syndrome, a rare neurological disorder in which your immune system mistakenly attacks part of the peripheral nervous system, which can cause numbness, tingling, and pain, followed by weakness in the legs and arms that affects both sides equally and worsens over time. The Zika virus was first isolated in April 1947 from a rhesus macaque monkey placed in a cage in the Zika forest of Uganda, near Lake Victoria, by the scientists of the Yellow Fever Research Institute. When the monkey developed a fever, the newly discovered virus was called Zika, after the forest in which it was found. The first human cases were detected in 1952 in Uganda and Tanzania. From the 1960s to the 1980s, sporadic occurrences of the disease occurred in Asia, including India, Indonesia, Malaysia, and Pakistan, where the virus is detected in mosquitoes. In Africa, the disease continued to occur only sporadically, with no outbreaks detected. From the 1960s until 2007, there were only 13 further confirmed human cases of Zika infection from Africa and Southeast Asia. The first outbreak outside of Africa or Asia occurred in Yap, an island in the Federated States of Micronesia, 2007. In total, the Yap Islands outbreak had 49 confirmed and 59 probable cases of Zika virus disease, with 0 deaths and hospitalizations. It was estimated that 73% of Yap residents 3 years of age or older had been recently infected with Zika virus. Later, in French Polynesia, Easter Island, and Cook Islands, and New Caledonia, an outbreak occurred from 2013 to 2014, resulting in 8,723 cases reported. This outbreak, despite occurring in the same region as the 2007 Yap outbreak, was thought to be due to a reintroduction of the virus from Southwest Asia. The isolation of the natives on the Oceania Islands is thought to have led to their increased susceptibility to this disease. The true number of Zika cases was estimated to be more than 30,000. In 2015, the emergence of Zika virus in Brazil heralded rapid spread throughout the Americas. It is estimated that around 1.5 million people contracted the virus in Brazil alone, with over 3,500 cases of infant microcephaly reported between October 2015 and January 2016. The above average warm temperatures of 2015 to 2016 created an environment conducive to the spread of the Zika virus in Brazil. Additionally, the increased rainfall and higher average temperature in the South American region led to both a longer mosquito season and a higher mosquito density, which facilitated the growth of the Aedes mosquito. The epidemic also
Appears to be
affected
a
other
lot
parts of South
scarier
and
than
North
folks
America,
thought.
as
Now
well as
declaring
several
a health
islands
emergency.
in
At
the
least
Pacific.
9 cases and more than 30 cases
5,168
detected here
people
in
were
the U.S.
diagnosed with Zika
Already,
in the United
346
States,
Zika
causing the
cases are
CDC
reported
to
all
list
over the
travel
country.
warnings to various
Everything we
countries in
look
the
at with
Caribbean.
this virus seems to be a bit scarier now.
Following the outbreak, cases of Zika virus disease globally declined from 2015 onwards. However, Zika virus transmission persists at low levels in several countries in the Americas and in other endemic regions. In addition, the first local mosquito-transmitted Zika virus disease cases were reported in Europe in 2019, and Zika virus outbreak activity was detected in India in 2021. To date, a total of 89 countries and territories have reported evidence of mosquito-transmitted Zika virus infection. However, surveillance remains limited globally. Currently, there is no vaccine for this virus, and there is neither an effective treatment to protect against the Zika virus. Therefore, the public health response primarily focuses on preventing infection, particularly in pregnant women who are increasingly susceptible to the disease. Prevention efforts involves decreasing mosquito bites in areas where the disease occurs. Efforts to prevent bites include the use of DEET or picaridin-based insect repellents, covering much of the body with clothing, mosquito nets, and getting rid of standing water where mosquitoes reproduce. Additionally, the proper use of condoms is important for preventing sexual transmission. Despite growing knowledge about this virus, questions remain regarding the virus's vectors and reservoirs, pathogenesis, genetic diversity, and potential synergistic effects of co-infection with other circulating viruses, which will require more research and investigation in the future. Thank you.